What's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the Wake and Jake College Football Show. This week we are doing bowl previews. I'm just going to kind of go through every single P4 versus P4 matchup in these bowl games and do just kind of a surface level preview just because it's too difficult to go in depth because who actually wants to be there, who's opting out, who's not, and sometimes they don't announce they're opting out till the last minute, and you just never know. So it's hard to do an in-depth preview of these games, especially ones that are like a week away. So it will be a very surface level preview, but still a preview nonetheless. And then Monday will be the college football playoffs preview. I know those are bowl games too, technically. I'm not going to be previewing them in this one. They will be their own separate episode. And then, obviously after those games, you will get a recap of the playoffs. And that is when I will do the Duke's Mayo Bowl. I didn't want to preview it this week just because it is over a week away. And I wanted to give Minnesota their own episode, essentially. They will be the only preview on that episode. So wait till next week for that one. But every other bowl game between Power 4 teams I will get into today. So yeah, let's get right into it and let's get a little high. All right, we're just going to go in chronological order for the bowl game. So we're just going to start with the Birmingham Bowl. Georgia Tech versus Vanderbilt. Georgia Tech is the 2.5-point favorites. Clark Lee's first bowl game. Brent Key's second. He has 1-0 in bowl games. Both teams do have some opt-outs from the transfer portal. Georgia Tech's definitely more hurt by that than Vandy is. Most notably Eric Singleton. They're one of their best receivers. Will not be playing in this game. He has transferred. I think he transferred to Auburn or somewhere. I don't exactly remember where he transferred to. We're going to get into that at some point. We will hit the transfer portal in an episode kind of once everything dies down a little bit. Now, I've said it all year. If Haynes King plays in a game for Georgia Tech, they have a shot to win against anybody. But you could argue the same goes for Vandy and Pavia, which I don't think I ever got into it, so I'm just going to get into it now. Pavia won his suit. He gets to play next year. So America's quarterback is returning for one more season, and I'm pumped. That's exciting for Vanderbilt. It's exciting for Pavia. It's exciting for America because, let's be honest, everybody loved Diego Pavia. What a great story. Yeah, he won. He's coming back. So I don't think I ever touched on that, so might as well touch on it now. We get another year of Diego. In the regular season, if they had played this game full strength, I think I would give the edge to Georgia Tech in a close one because that's what Vandy does. They play close games. I just think with some of these opt-outs, Georgia Tech might be hurting more than Vandy does. Winner, Vanderbilt. Liberty Bowl, we got Texas Tech and Arkansas. Texas Tech is a 1.5-point favorites. This is very much a toss-up. Both Joey McGuire, Sam Pittman, they're both 2-0 in bowl games, so this will be the first loss for either coach in bowl games. And both teams are kind of missing some players due to opt-outs or injuries. I would say that Arkansas seems to be missing most of the production just because it's both sides of the ball that are opting out. Now, Texas Tech is missing their best receiver and their quarterback. Their quarterback is out. Baron Morton, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name correctly. And Texas Tech has a terrible defense. And one person who has not opted out, which I don't know why they ever would unless they were transferring, Taylon Green. Taylon Green going against a bad defense is a recipe for an exciting game. I think Texas Tech will still have success offensively, but I don't know to what extent, just with your starting quarterback out, your best receiver gone. I guess I don't know if Taj Brooks is even playing. I'm more worried about their offense than I normally would be with those injuries and those opt-outs. So Taylon Green might make this one exciting, might make this one close. I'm still going to lean Texas Tech. I'm still going to say Texas Tech wins this, but Arkansas could make it interesting. Holiday Bowl, I'm not even going to really preview this one. Syracuse versus Washington State. Syracuse is a 17.5-point favorite, which I get because Washington State's coach, Jake Dickert, left for Wake Forest, and they lost so much production on both sides of the ball. They kind of faltered towards, the end of the season there. Offensive coordinator leaves for Oklahoma. Head coach leaves for Wake Forest. It's just, they're kind of in a free fall right now. Syracuse, on the other hand, they still have their coach, and they still have most of their production on both sides of the ball. Overall, it was a great season for Washington State. Ended kind of rough. I just think they're going to be way too shorthanded on this one. I have Syracuse winning this one easily. Las Vegas Bowl, we got USC playing Texas A&M. A&M is a 3.5-point favorite. Lincoln Riley, 2-4 in bowl games, which I guess it shouldn't be that shocking, but it shocked me when I saw that. Mike Elko, on the other hand, 1-0, so good for him. 100% winning percentage, there you go, batting 1,000. Both teams are without significant production in this one. I think USC seems to be hit the hardest with this. Technically, this is an opt-out, Miller Moss, but they had already benched him anyway, so it's not that big of a loss, I guess. Zachariah Branch, Quentin Joyner, Woody Marks, all not participating in this one. That is a lot of offensive production that's just gone. Add that to Lincoln Riley's bowl record. I just think this could be a tough game for USC. Texas A&M, they lost Connor Wegman. That's fine. They're already sold on Marcel Reed. Le'Veon Moss is out for the season. You lose Nick Scourton on defense to an opt-out. I still think USC's defense is not that great. Texas A&M will be able to. Marcel Reed's going to run all over USC, and Texas A&M's defense is good enough to shut down USC with them missing some of their biggest and best weapons. I think Lincoln Riley moves to 2-5 in bowl games. Pinstripe Bowl, we got Boston College and Nebraska. Nebraska is a 3.5-point favorite. Matt Rule 1-2 in bowl games. Bill O'Brien, shockingly, 0-0, because when he was the coach of Penn State, they weren't allowed to participate in any sort of bowl game or conference championship. So they were still under those Joe Paterno problems that popped up, Jerry Sandusky, all that. So Boston College, not missing too much in this game. Obviously, Thomas Castellanos is gone, but we already knew that before the season ended. He had gotten benched and then left the team. Nebraska, on the other hand, they are missing a good amount of defensive production in this one. And Vegas has this as a 3.5-point spread. And so clearly it's kind of a toss-up for them, and it's a toss-up for me as well. I think Nebraska, their fan base, it's tough to say because they were very pumped to make a bowl game, and then they were pissed that they made the pinstripe. So it's kind of tough to say how invested they're going to be in this. They should be very invested because first bowl game since 2016. But then they were bitching about the pinstripe bowl, which they shouldn't be doing because you made a bowl game. But whatever. To each their own. We'll see how invested the fan base is. We'll see how invested the team is. Like I said, toss-up for me. I'm going to lean Boston College on this one, but won't be shocked if Nebraska wins. Pop-Tarts Bowl, we got Iowa State, Miami. Miami is a 3.5-point favorite. Both coaches have coached in a lot of bowl games. Matt Campbell's 4-5, Mario Cristobal's 3-4. If both teams were at full strength, playing in the regular season, playing in the playoffs, whatever, I think I would lean Miami. I think I would. I think I would lean Miami, even with their shitty defense. I have to do it. It's, again, toss-up for me. It really is. You could make an argument for Iowa State. From everything I've seen, it looks like Cam Ward, Xavier Restrepo, Damian Martinez, sounds like they're all playing. Does not sound like they're opting out as of yet. So I expect them to be flying on offense. Iowa State, the question lies with their stud receivers because it sounds like Rocco Becht is also playing because I'm pretty sure he's returning, so why wouldn't he play? Jalen Noel, Jalen Higgins. Are they playing or are they not? I've seen where they're projected to play, but again, you just never actually know until right before the game starts. If all of these players play, I expect a shootout. I expect this to be a high-scoring game. You can make an argument for either team. I would lean Miami. The one worry I would have for Miami is, do they really want to be there after missing out on the playoff? Now, if Cam Ward, Xavier Restrepo, and Damian Martinez play, then it gives me the vibe that they do want to be there and they do want to prove that they should have been in the playoffs and they don't want to go out losing. Makes it a little hard to predict ahead of time, but I lean Miami. Alamo Bowl, BYU, Colorado. Colorado is a 3.5-point favorite. Kalani Sitake's 4-2 in bowl games. Deion Sanders technically 0-2 at Jackson State. This one's very interesting because supposedly Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders are playing, which means if they're playing, the Colorado offense is going to come out firing, and they are going to throw the ball 30, 40 times this game. If Shedeur throws it 50 times, I wouldn't be shocked. BYU had a great season. They are a tough team to beat. You could argue that they were very lucky early in the season to win some of the games that they won. That being said, they still had a great season. Colorado, you could argue, didn't really have a tough schedule, and they struggled with Nebraska, who went 6-6. They struggled with North Dakota State, which can't blame them for that one. North Dakota State's playing for the FCS championship, but still, they seem to not have that tough of a schedule. Still went 9-3. This should be a close, hard-fought game if BYU can keep the ball out of Colorado's hands, which, I mean, it's possible. It's possible that BYU can hold on to the ball, make Colorado's offense sit on the sidelines. I think Shedeur and Travis Hunter are going to try to ball out. I think Deion's going to try to put them in. They're going to be calling a lot of plays to Travis Hunter on offense, and like I said, Shedeur is going to throw the ball a lot. Colorado wins this one. Music City Bowl, we got Iowa and Mizzou. Mizzou is a 2.5-point favorite. Kirk Ferentz, 10-10 in bowl games. Elijah Drinkwitz, 1-2. Now, anytime anyone plays Mizzou, especially a Big Ten team, I pick against Mizzou. That's partially because I'm a Elijah Drinkwitz hater, partially because I'm a Mizzou hater, partially because I think they're overrated. It's a little bit of all those. And I think most, if not all, Big Ten teams, okay, I take that back, not all, because I know Purdue could not. But I think a lot of Big Ten teams could beat Mizzou on any given Saturday. This game's being played on a Monday. I don't give a shit. My one and only hesitation for this game is I'm not sure who's playing quarterback for Iowa. Not that it necessarily matters because they're all trash. But they're missing their whole entire offense in Caleb Johnson. He is not playing in this game, which worries me because the quarterback position has not been great all year. Caleb Johnson has been your whole entire offense. If he's not going, your offense is not going. Even when he is going, sometimes your offense is not going. So losing him to this game, not great. But they still have a good defense. And we have seen it all season. Missouri struggles against good defenses. Toss-up for me, clearly a toss-up for Vegas. If I was going to make a bet on this before the game started or anytime before the game started. Because a lot of these bowl games, I'm not betting ahead of time. I'm just going to throw that out there. This is a live bet game. I just cannot do it until I see how some of these teams actually want to be there, how much they want to be there. But if I was going to place a bet on this game, I would probably place it on the under. And if you had me pick a winner, I'm going to say Iowa because fuck Mizzou. ReliaQuest Bowl. This is a perfect example of a game that to live bet because do they actually want to be there? We got Alabama and Michigan. Alabama is a 12.5-point favorite. Kalen DeBoer 2-0 in bowl games or postseason game. Well, no, not postseason games because they did lose the national championship. 2-0 in bowl games though. Sharon Moore, 0-0. Has not coached in a bowl game. At a first glance, this should be, you would think, a very, just based on history and whatnot, a very easy win for Alabama. But then again, so should have their game against Oklahoma. That should have been an easy win for Bama. But then also the Vandy game should have been an easy win for Bama. And then Bama also lost to Tennessee, who got their ass beat by Ohio State, a team who lost to Michigan. So based on that, Michigan should win this. But if Alabama actually wants to be there and actually shows up, they'll win this game. It's just hard to know, do they actually want to be there after being snubbed from the playoffs? Uh, is this reliable? Is this below what Bama wants to show up for? Hard to know. This is a game where almost immediately you'll be able to tell if Bama actually wants to be there. If you had me pick a winner right now, I'm going to say Bama, but that comes with a question mark because, again, do they actually want to be there? And if they don't want to be there, then you better hammer Michigan to cover or possibly money line. But yeah, Bama wanting to show up for this game is my biggest question. All right, the Sun Bowl, we got Louisville and Washington. Louisville's a 2.5-point favorite. Jeff Brom 4-2 in bowl games. Jedd Fisch 1-1, and I'm giving these coaches records because when I preview Minnesota and Virginia Tech at the Duke's Mayo Bowl next week, I am going to be giving out PJ's bowl game record because I think it does matter. If a coach does not show up for bowl games, Lincoln Riley, I'm more likely to pick against your team. When you have a team like, or a coach like PJ Fleck, who wins every bowl game he's coached with Minnesota, I'm probably going to lean Minnesota in that one. So it does factor into my decisions, a coach's record in bowl games. Maybe it shouldn't, but it does. Now, Louisville, Washington, normally this is a game where I would probably pick Louisville just because I do think that they are a better team. I think Jeff Brom's a very good coach. We've seen it when he was the coach at Purdue, and we've seen how they've struggled when he left. It's been ugly. But Tyler Shugg is not playing, which means Harrison Bailey gets the start. I don't know if Harrison Bailey's really that good, but he's getting the start. They do still have Isaac Brown playing, but they won't have Ja'Cory Brooks to throw to. So it makes me a little nervous for Louisville now. Jeff Brom's the quarterback whisperer. Maybe he brings out some magic with Harrison Bailey. Who knows? Now for Washington, they're missing some offensive linemen for this game. Curious how their offensive line holds up. Because Louisville does have a pretty talented defensive line, a very good defensive line. This could be a lower scoring game, just because Tyler Shugg's not playing, and I think that's a huge loss, and also Ja'Cory Brooks, but Tyler Shugg is a huge loss for this Louisville offense. Now, I know Isaac Brown's still there, but maybe Washington just needs to sell out to stop Isaac Brown and then force Harrison Bailey to beat them. Who knows? But I do lean Washington in this one. Citrus Bowl, we got South Carolina and Illinois. Now, last time that I came out and said that Illinois was being disrespected by the line that was put out, I was proven so wrong. It was bad. Oregon destroyed them. That was the game that I said Illinois was being disrespected pregame. South Carolina is a 9.5-point favorite. Brett Bielema, 4-6 in bowl games. Shane Beamer, 1-1. I'm refraining from saying Illinois is being disrespected, but they have been underrated all year. Their only losses to a good Minnesota team. Whatever other people may say, Minnesota's a good team. Close loss to Penn State, 21-7. It was a lot closer than that, in my opinion. And then they did get blown out by Oregon, but Oregon is the number one team in the nation, so there is that. Illinois does not also, they really don't have many opt-outs, which definitely bodes well for them. South Carolina, great season. Really, same with Illinois, really no bad losses. Losing to Alabama, losing to Ole Miss, even LSU, they're really not terrible losses. That LSU one they would definitely like to have back, but it is what it is. Lenore Sellers, as we know, electric as hell. Defense, very good, especially along the defensive line. But Kyle Kennard is not playing in this game, and that's going to be a huge loss. Based on Illinois being underrated all year, I am going to lean Illinois in this one. I think their defense is good enough to keep this game close. Not saying Lenore Sellers isn't going to pop off a run here or there. I just think they are good enough to keep it close. I'm going to say Illinois wins this one. We got the Texas Bowl, Baylor, LSU. Baylor is a 2.5-point favorite. Dave Aranda 1-1 in bowl games. Brian Kelly 9-6. Neither team has any major opt-outs as of yet. Now, again, we're still a few days from that game even being played, so things could change. LSU, I guess, had a disappointing season by their standards, and Baylor had kind of a surprise season, considering Dave Aranda was thought to be on the hot seat going into this season. So when we break down both of these seasons and kind of see how they ended, because they're both 8-4, I give the edge to Baylor. They finished the season strong, winning their last 6 games. So they started 2-4 this season, won their last 6. They're 8-4. They've been on a roll. Their offense, is honestly, surprisingly, because Dave Aranda is a defensive coach, their offense has been their strength. And with not a lot of opt-outs, I like their chances in this one. And LSU, again, 8-4, but they lost 3 of their last 5. And in those 3 losses, their offense really struggled. I think this game could be a higher scoring game, but I think Baylor wins this one. Final bowl game to preview, we've got the Gator Bowl. We got Duke and Ole Miss. Ole Miss is a 14.5-point favorite. Manny Diaz 0-2 in bowl games. Lane Kiffin 3-4. And this game is so far out that it's hard to know all of the opt-outs. Jackson Dart is expected to play. Who knows? His mind could be changed. You never know. But one thing we do know is that Duke is going to be without Malik Murphy, as he has entered the transfer portal. I think he's going to Oregon State. I don't know. I'd have to double check that. But Malik Murphy not playing is a big loss for this offense. Defensively, Duke is good enough to slow down Ole Miss and make some stops. I'm not saying they're going to shut them out, but good enough to make some stops against Ole Miss's offense. I just don't think Duke will do anything offensively without Malik Murphy. I really don't. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he wasn't as much of that offense as I think he is. But I just think his loss is going to be felt on offense. And this is a game, again, live bet because it's a bowl game. If I had to make a play, though, ahead of time, I'd probably lean the under in this one. But there's no doubt in my mind that Ole Miss wins this one. I just don't see it. I really don't. Yeah, that's my bowl preview, guys. Like I said, I'm going to save that Duke's Mayo Bowl. Do a little Minnesota Minute. Give them a proper preview for that one. Give them a whole episode. Not a whole episode, but they'll be the only preview in that episode. Also, because it's just so far out. I'm going to be doing 2 shows between then. Monday will be the playoff preview. Obviously, I know those are bowl games. I left them out because they deserve their own episode. So Monday will be the preview for that, and then depending on how those go, I may end up recording Wednesday night if if they're blowouts. So, but then I'll obviously post a recap, and then that's when I will preview the Duke's Mayo Bowl. And then from there, we do still have some more playoffs to preview, but we might be dropping to just 1 episode a week after that. I'm going to be doing some conference, just kind of a review of each conference, and I might do 2 a week on that one, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, we might be dropping to 1 episode a week. But yeah, enjoy the bowl games. They're always fun. They're always wacky. There's always something crazy that happens. I'm excited. I can't wait to live bet these games, and I will talk to you guys on Monday.